If you're having a hard time, like I am, trying to predict what is going to happen next in your country or trying to figure out what is going to happen next in the economy, maybe you're trying to figure out what is going to happen next in the job market and where you're going to work and what your career is going to look like in a few years. Maybe you're concerned about, okay, how am I going to get this return on investment of all of the years that I've spent in school? No matter what your worry is in 2025, I want to take a moment and talk to you about what you may and I may be feeling at this moment. Today, we're going to be talking about anxiety. With everything that is going on, it's so hard to predict what is going to happen next that when we try to make plans, and our plans are mighty, trust me. A lot of us are making plans to get promoted, get raises, to start a family, to purchase a house, whatever your plans are, right? When you cannot predict what is going to happen in your environment or what's going to happen in your community, what's going to happen in the job market, all of the plans that you create turn into sources of anxiety. And I've had an opportunity to see this in a lot of different places, either in my time in the military or my time as a consultant. I know what it's like to feel that career anxiety, social anxiety. We also call it like bank account anxiety. Whatever your anxiety is, there's a lot of a lot of different types that can typically they hold us back from really achieving the things that we know we can achieve. Anxiety really stifles creativity. I want to play a clip for all of us so that we have a good reference point on what I'm referring to. And the I think this clip is particularly unique because it highlights the differences in how and the relationship between anxiety and creativity. All right, watch the clip and then we'll continue our discussion right after.
The story running in the brain is what actually causes continuous anxiety, even when there's no danger around. So that was one thing. I realized that was going on. And then I started to see that neurologically, the opposite of anxiety seemed to be creativity. If you look at the two parts of the brain that process that, they're kind of mirrors. And it seemed to me that they toggled. When one is on, the other goes off. We know that when anxiety comes up, creativity goes off. I decided to see if pushing creativity, active creativity of all kinds, not just like the arts, but literally making anything, would shut down anxiety. And it turned out that it does. Pure creativity is writing a card to a friend, making a sandwich, inviting people to a dinner party, thinking about how to arrange your furniture or wear your clothes. Everything you make or rearrange counts as creativity. So instead of thinking you have to do the creative arts, just make stuff. If you're worried about something, instead of thinking, what should I do? What should I do? Ask yourself, what could I make right now? And as you start to make it, even if you don't really want to, as you start to make that sandwich or whatever it is, you'll find that focusing on the creative activity flatlines your anxiety.
Okay, so that's a wonderful clip. That's the esteemed Dr. Martha Beck. I 100% agree with what she said with respect to creativity really taking care of and decreasing your anxiety. When I think about everything that's going on, I start to feel anxious. I'm sure you feel the same way. And like the doctor said, if you create stuff, if you begin to create things, make things, if you start using your creativity, it is a perfect way to manage your anxiety, whether it's social anxiety, career anxiety, whatever anxiety that you have. Use creativity, use your ability to create to manage that anxiety. Now, I know there are some people out there like, I'm not a very creative person. And I've just been so beat down by life that all my creative juices are just gone. I just don't have it in me. Well, I'm going to share with you three things that you can do today, right now, starting at this second, that you can do to manage your issues with creativity. Um, I believe that if you do these three things, that your creativity will start coming back. And as your creativity comes back, your anxiety will start to go away. And you won't have to struggle with anxiety anymore because you'll be able to do these three things anytime you start to feel anxious or anytime you start to feel like your creativity is being taken away. As someone who is working with so many people to build their relationship making skills and build their social skills, I believe that if you have anxiety and you're dealing with career anxiety or whatever anxiety that you're dealing with, I believe that if you use your creative juices, you can, like the doctor said, you can use it for anything. But I believe that if you use your creative juices to make friends, then with everything that's going on in the economy in our country and all over the world, having good friends that are in different industries and live in different regions and but all believe certain core principles and all have certain personality characteristics. If you make good friends, that is a perfect way to have a long-term solution for anxiety. But like I said, how can you make friends? How can you get those creative juices going and you just don't have whatever it is to get them going? Well, without further ado, let's get started. The first step to getting your creativity going, it's worked for me many times, is being thankful. Have an attitude of gratitude and focus that thankfulness on yourself. Oh, I'll focus it on me. So whenever I'm feeling anxious, I feel like my creativity is gone. I know I have to do a check-in with myself. I know I have to look at myself in the mirror. If I don't have a mirror, I just have to close my eyes and visualize myself. And I pick out three things. And I want you to do this exercise as well. Pick out three things that you like about yourself. Even better, pick out three things that you love about yourself. Now, some of you may be thinking, there's nothing that I really like about myself. There's nothing that I really love about myself. Like, even if I pick something out, I don't really believe it. That's okay. It's okay if you don't believe the things that you like about yourself or that you love about yourself. The only thing that you need to do is think it. Just think it. And if you can think it, you can write it. And if you can write it down in your journal, write it down on a piece of paper, but write it down and then say it. I say write it down because as you write it down, your body, using nonverbal communication, your body is actually internalizing what you are writing. And then as you say it, when you hear your voice with your ears say something that you like about yourself or that you love about yourself, it reinforces that compliment or that attitude of gratitude. It reinforces that inside your mind, inside your brain, inside your soul, inside your spirit. And the more you say it, the more words come out of your mouth that have words of affirmation, and the more your ears hear those words, you hear the sound of those words. You begin to internalize what those the deeper meaning behind those words. So that's what I'm going to ask you to do. Think about three things that you like about yourself. It can be something trivial, like I like the way my nose is shaped. It could be something deep, like I love, or I like the way I love people, or I like the way I forgive people, or I like the way I conversate and I make people feel heard. Whatever it is, right? Pick three things that you like about yourself or that you love about yourself, write them down, and then say them out loud. If you do that and you do that enough times, even if you don't believe it right away, just the thought of it, eventually with consistency, it's going to grow into a belief. And then if you continue to be consistent, that belief is going to turn into something that is a piece of faith. It's going to be something that you're going to be able to apply to a lot of different situations where you find that your creativity is being stifled or your anxiety is peaking. That's the number one thing. Hopefully you wrote that down. The second thing to do is to be thankful for your situation. I know it's crazy. It sounds crazy to a lot of people who are not happy with the way they live. They're not happy with where they live. They're not happy with their car. They're not happy with their job. They're not happy with their neighborhood. They're not happy with their city. They're not happy with their country. There's a lot of people out there who may feel a lot of unhappiness around things related to their environment. Maybe they don't like how it looks, or they don't like how it smells, or they don't like how it feels, or whatever it is, right? But I'm going to ask you, because I've done that in the military, to have an attitude of gratitude for your environment. Pick three things in your environment that you like, or that you think you like, or that you love, right? You don't have to believe it down in your soul, but all you have to do is have the thought. If the thought comes to your head, write it down and say it out loud. As I said before, writing it down and saying it out loud, it's going to internalize it. And with consistency, if you do it every day, 3 times a day, with consistency, that thought is going to turn into a strongly held belief, and it's going to uplift your spirits. You're going to start focusing. It's almost like going to the gym and working out. Your mind, your heart, your spirit is going to get stronger, and it's going to be a more grateful spirit. It's going to be a more optimistic spirit. It's going to be a more uplifting energy that you're going to have. I can't stress that enough. When I was deployed, I was in the desert. It was 100 degrees at 9 o'clock in the morning. There was a lot of things that I could point to where I just didn't like the situation. But on those days when in the morning, afternoon, and evening, when I felt like life wasn't very good and I felt like my situation wasn't very good or whatever it was, I was able to look up into the sky and say, well, you know what? At least we have nice weather. At least it's not too hot. At 12 o'clock, it was like 135 degrees in the Middle East, but at least at 9 o'clock, it wasn't too hot. And then I started thinking, I picked out other things like, okay, I'm living in a tent, but at least my tent has air conditioning. Whew, thank God for air conditioning. I was able to go to the chow hall. I was able to go to the little market that they had on base, and I was able to go in there and look around and say, you know what, at least they have candy to buy, or at least they have fresh food, or they have a fresh bananas, or whatever it is. I was able to pick at certain things in the environment and identify them and tell myself, you know, I like that. I like the fact that it's not too hot. I like the fact that we have at least fresh bananas. There was a lot of stuff that wasn't fresh, but there were certain things that were fresh. I like the fact that we have buses that take us from point A to point B. Like, I was able to identify certain things, and eventually, with that attitude of gratitude, I was able to get through at a deployment where I was very anxious about how long I was going to stay, whether or not everything was going to work out in my career, and this, that, and the other. But being able to pick three things every single day, 3 times a day, helped me transform the way my mind thought about my situation that I was in. It's worked in the military, it's worked as a consultant, and I'm sure that it's going to work for you if you try it. So that's another way the second way to get rid of anxiety and get those creative juices flowing. Have an attitude of gratitude about your environment. The third one is a little bit hard, because this involves having an attitude of gratitude for people, the people in your life, whether it's your friends, your family, your classmates, your coworkers, people that you see in your community, people that you see online, wherever it is. Have an attitude of gratitude for people. And like I said, this is one of the hardest ones, because a lot of times people are the cause, or people are the reason why you feel so anxious about everything in your life. People are the reason why you have social anxiety. It's the trigger. People may be the reason why you have career anxiety, because maybe they're not going to promote you, or they're going to make a decision to lay off your business unit, or whatever it is. People, it's very difficult to have an attitude of gratitude for all people. But I'll say this, there has to be someone, either in your life or on social media or at your job or in your class, there has to be someone there that is just genuinely a good person. You know, maybe they haven't gone out of their way to catch your attention, or maybe they are just doing their job or doing their work just like every single one else, right? but there's something about that good person that you have in your life, and maybe you've overlooked them for a very, very, very long time. And maybe they're just quietly existing in your life. Take some time and think and identify three things about the people in your life, even those quiet ones, that you can be grateful for. These are certain things that you can like and that you can love. And you don't have to really believe them, right? You don't have to internalize them on day one. But all you have to do is think it, be able to write it down, be able to say it, hopefully to that person, and have an attitude of gratitude toward the people in your life. It sounds something like this. I've done this as a consultant. We meet with the client, and you obviously have your project teams. And there's this professional courtesy and professional friendliness that we have in all of those situations, whether we're having internal meetings or we're having client meetings. And it's easy to feel like, okay, here's another engagement, here's another project, and it's easy to get lost in the requirements of our jobs and overlook the fact that we need people to do the work. And if people are not feeling well, or they're feeling disenfranchised, or they're feeling disengaged, then the work doesn't get done at the pace we expect it to get done. And if that happens, then the project can move behind, and a lot of bad things can happen with respect to the company and with respect to our clients. So it's very important for me to be in the right mindset and not be overcome with anxiety and not allow certain social dynamics to exist on projects and when I'm on the client side that would impact our productivity. I said all that to say there's been times when even I get burned out of managing relationships and managing personalities and dealing with the politics. And a lot of times you get something out of it, but sometimes it could be not very fulfilling. But I am fortunate, and this is no like current client, so don't worry about trying to track the people down. But I am fortunate that I learned to come in on Monday morning, and before I have my first meeting, I think of three things that I like or love about the people that I'm working with or the people that I'm serving. Sometimes it is just their personality, their thoughtfulness. Sometimes it's just their sunny disposition on Monday morning where they're just super chipper. Sometimes it's their work ethic, how they're very dependable on doing their role on a particular project. Maybe they're doing their work and they're doing the work that they're getting paid to do, right? But I appreciate the consistency. I appreciate the fact that they're dedicated to doing their job like we all expect them to do their job. So it can be anything. And so once I know what I'm thankful for and grateful for, I'll look for opportunities to share that information with the person. So like right after the meeting, I'll walk up and be like, hey, I really appreciated the fact that you took notes during this meeting and you provided such great insight into our brainstorming session. And usually they will either acknowledge and say, hey, thank you very much, so on and so forth. But I think deep down inside, something happens in their soul, something happens in their heart, where they know that their work is being recognized. I'm not the executive, right? I'm not the big boss, but it's being recognized by someone who happens to be a manager, who happens to know what he's talking about, but it's being recognized by someone of their peers. And so being recognized by someone else. And I've always received such great results and such great feedback and such great support from people who I have expressed gratitude toward, professional gratitude toward. It has to be authentic, right? So if you can think it, it's like, you know what, I really appreciate that they do X, Y, and Z. Great, share it, but don't try to overdo it. Don't love bomb them. Be authentic as possible. The other thing that I'll share with you on this is there are some people who can't get over the hurdle, right? Because in corporate America and on different job sites, it's such a huge pressure. We have such high expectations to compete with each other. And giving a compliment can often can make people feel as if they are giving a leg up to whoever they're paying the compliment to. And when you get ready to hand out percentages on raises and bonuses and make decisions on who's going to get laid off and who's not, there some people are worried that, hey, if I plus up this person, or if I give too many compliments to this person in front of everybody, then may take my spot, or they may move up and I won't move up. I'll share this. Don't worry about that. If you make friends and your friends are genuine, even if the person moves up and maybe you move up a year later or 2 years later or 4 years later, or maybe you never move up, right? The friends that you make when you have an attitude of gratitude toward the people around you, those friends are more valuable than money. They're more valuable than that next position, because they're going to be with you and they're going to support you whether you get the job or if you don't. So I just want to encourage you that in my life, yes, I've missed out on promotions, I've missed out on raises. I get it, because I wasn't as cutthroat, right? But I still believe that my success in life, with my own company and my success as a speaker and obviously creating content, it has only been possible because I was willing to be authentic and build quality relationships with the people that I work with and that I've gone to school with and that I live with. And so I encourage you to do the same thing. Success will come. It may not look exactly how success looks for everyone else, but success is going to come. The results will be there. And if you focus on having an attitude of gratitude and building high quality, transparent relationships and making friends, you're going to move much faster than if you didn't. That's the message for today. This is a little shorter session, but I hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful afternoon, wonderful morning, wonderful evening, whatever you're doing. I hope you take what I've said today to heart, and I want you to try out these exercises. Really try to have an attitude of gratitude toward yourself, do some self love toward your environment, and also toward the people in your life. And let me know in the results. Let me know in the comments what your results are. It's not going to be something where it's going to be perfect every single time. This is an exercise, and the more times we do it, the better we get at it. If you can do it 3 times a day, maybe you start off with 1 time a day, right? But if you do it 3 times a day, you're going to have so much positivity in your bank account, just flowing over, where if something bad happens, or if something happens where it throws off your plans, or maybe your anxiety starts rising up in social situations, you're going to be able to remember those things that you are grateful for, and it's going to completely transform the way your mind thinks about your situation. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to you living the best life that you can live. I hope you have a wonderful day, wonderful afternoon, wonderful evening, and I'll talk to you all soon. Thank you.